Pure nostalgia.
Yo Joe. G.I. Joe, a real American hero, gave us 95 episodes of Saturday morning action between 1983 and 1986. Some were pure toy commercials. Others were genuinely great storytelling that pushed the limits of kids' TV, introducing dark themes, emotional stakes, and surprisingly mature plots. Today, we're counting down the top 10 greatest G.I. Joe episodes ever made, based on fan rankings, critical acclaim, and pure nostalgic impact. Before we deploy, subscribe to Pure Nostalgia and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next mission into 80s cartoon greatness. Number 10. The Funhouse, Season 1, Episode 12. The Funhouse starts with Cobra kidnapping scientists for ransom, but quickly turns into a psychological thriller set inside an abandoned amusement park. The Joes must navigate deadly carnival traps, haunted houses, rigged rides, and funhouse mirrors, while rescuing hostages and stopping Cobra's escape. What makes this episode special is how it focuses on newer Joe team members like Blowtorch, Gung Ho, and Airborne, giving them character development beyond their specialty labels. The creepy carnival setting and claustrophobic tension made it feel more like horror than typical action. The Funhouse proved G.I. Joe could do more than laser battles and PSAs. It showed the series could build atmosphere, create suspense, and treat secondary characters as real heroes. Fans still rank it among the best standalone episodes for its creativity and darker tone. Number 9. Countdown for Zartan, Season 1, Episode 6. Zartan is hired by Cobra to blow up a meeting of prominent scientists, but the plan backfires when he becomes trapped inside the very building he rigged with explosives. The Joes realize they must save Zartan to defuse the bomb, creating an uneasy temporary alliance. This episode flips the usual formula. Instead of fighting Zartan, the Joes work with him. The ticking clock adds real tension, and Zartan's arrogance slowly turns to desperation as the countdown approaches zero. His survival instincts clash with his pride, making him surprisingly complex. Countdown for Zartan shows that even villains can be vulnerable. It's a character study wrapped in an action thriller, and it gave Zartan depth beyond shape-shifting mercenary. Fans love how it took a straightforward premise and turned it into genuine drama.
Number 8. Excalibur, Season 1, Episode 50. While fleeing the Joes, Storm Shadow stumbles upon King Arthur's legendary sword, Excalibur, buried in stone. When he pulls it free, Cobra realizes they've found a mystical weapon and plot to use it for world domination. The Joes must stop Cobra and return Excalibur to its resting place. This episode brilliantly mixes Arthurian legend with G.I. Joe's modern warfare. Storm Shadow wielding Excalibur adds mythic weight to his ninja skills, and the ancient sword becomes a MacGuffin worth fighting for. The episode respects the legend while keeping the action grounded. Excalibur stands out because it took risks. Mixing medieval fantasy with military action could have been silly, but the writers played it straight, creating one of the most memorable and visually striking episodes of Season 1. Number 7. Once Upon a Joe, Season 2, Episode 10. After a Joe-Cobra battle destroys an orphanage, Shipwreck tells the displaced children an exaggerated fairy tale version of G.I. Joe's adventures to lift their spirits. The Joes become knights, Cobra becomes dragons and sorcerers, and real battles are reimagined as epic fantasy quests. What makes this episode genius is how it uses the fairy tale framing to comment on heroism, trauma, and storytelling itself. Shipwreck's embellishments reveal how he copes with violence by turning horror into myth. Kids loved the fantasy visuals, adults appreciated the meta commentary. Once Upon a Joe showed the series at its most creative. It broke format, played with animation styles, and gave Shipwreck real emotional depth. Fans rank it as one of the most innovative and heartfelt episodes in the entire series. Number 6. The Phantom Brigade, Season 1, Episode 45. When a squadron of World War I-era biplanes attacks modern military bases, the Joes investigate and discover a shocking truth. The pilots are elderly veterans who feel forgotten by history and have been manipulated by Cobra into becoming terrorists. The episode asks hard questions about how society treats its soldiers. The emotional climax hits when the Joes convince the old pilots they're being used. One veteran realizes what he's done and sacrifices himself to stop Cobra's plan. For a Saturday morning cartoon, this was shockingly mature, dealing with aging, obsolescence, and the cost of being left behind. The Phantom Brigade is the episode fans cite when defending G.I. Joe's storytelling. It took a bizarre premise, ghost pilots, and turned it into a meditation on honor, memory, and exploitation. The ending still makes grown adults emotional.
Number 5. The Revenge of Cobra, 5-part miniseries. The second major miniseries follows Cobra's plan to control the world's weather using the Weather Dominator device. Across 5 episodes, the stakes escalate. Extensive Joe captures, daring escapes, Zartan's introduction, and Snake Eye's first meeting with Timber the Wolf. Destro and Cobra Commander's rivalry intensifies as their alliance fractures. This miniseries cemented the show's formula: globe-trotting missions, impossible tech, character development through action. Snake Eyes' story arc in particular stood out, showing his humanity through his bond with Timber rather than dialogue. Duke's capture and torture added real danger. The Revenge of Cobra proved the show could sustain epic storytelling across multiple episodes. Fans consider it superior to even the original Mass Device miniseries for its tighter pacing, better animation, and deeper character moments. Number 4. Worlds Without End, 2-part episode. The Joes are accidentally transported to an alternate dimension where Cobra won the war and rules Earth as a dystopian empire. They encounter alternate versions of themselves, some dead, some enslaved, some broken. The 2-part story forces the Joes to see what failure looks like and fight to prevent that future. This episode is shockingly dark. The alternate dimension shows dead Joes, skeletons in uniform. It explores mature themes like totalitarianism, sacrifice, and the fragility of freedom. For kids watching in 1985, seeing their heroes defeated was genuinely disturbing. Worlds Without End is frequently cited as the most mature G.I. Joe story. It asked, "What if Cobra won?" and showed the horrifying answer. The emotional weight and visual darkness make it stand out as proof that Saturday morning cartoons could tackle serious ideas. Number 3. Nightmare Assault, Season 2, Episode 29. Dr. Mindbender creates a machine that traps people in their worst nightmares, and his first victim is Lowlight, a Joe sniper haunted by childhood trauma. The episode dives deep into Lowlight's psyche, his fear of the dark, his shame, his strained relationship with his father. The Joes must enter his nightmare to rescue him. The surreal, trippy visuals in the nightmare sequences were some of the best animation in the entire series. Twisted landscapes, morphing monsters, and psychological horror replaced typical laser battles. Lowlight's vulnerability made him human. He wasn't just a soldier, but a damaged person. Nightmare Assault is beloved for its psychological depth and visual creativity. It showed that even elite soldiers carry trauma, and that mental battles can be as dangerous as physical ones. Fans rank it as the best episode of Season 2.
Number 2. There's No Place Like Springfield, a 2-part episode. Shipwreck wakes from a coma to discover Cobra has been defeated, G.I. Joe disbanded, and he's married with a child in a perfect suburban town called Springfield. As he settles into domestic life, cracks appear. Strange neighbors, impossible coincidences, and gaps in his memory. The truth is horrifying. It's all a Cobra illusion, using synthoids to extract a secret formula from his subconscious. Neil Ross delivers a heartbreaking performance as Shipwreck slowly realizes his wife and child never existed. The emotional devastation when the illusion shatters is genuinely gut-wrenching. For a kid's cartoon, this was shockingly cruel, showing a hero lose everything, including hope. There's No Place Like Springfield is considered the best character-focused episode in G.I. Joe history. It's the Twilight Zone meets psychological horror wrapped in a Saturday morning cartoon. Fans rank it #1 or #2 in almost every poll for its emotional impact and dark creativity. Number 1. Arise, Serpentor, Arise. 5-part miniseries, Season 2 opener. Dissatisfied with Cobra Commander's failures, Dr. Mindbender proposes creating a genetically perfect leader by combining DNA from history's greatest conquerors, Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Genghis Khan, and more. Across 5 episodes, Cobra raids tombs worldwide while the Joes race to stop them. The result? Serpentor, Cobra's new emperor, who declares, "This I command." This miniseries introduced iconic characters: Serpentor, Sergeant Slaughter, General Hawk, Beachhead, featured globe-trotting adventures, and pushed animation quality to new heights. The tomb raids were thrilling, the DNA concept was sci-fi gold, and Serpentor's arrival changed the power dynamics forever. Arise, Serpentor, Arise is the definitive G.I. Joe event. It represents the show at its peak: ambitious storytelling, character introductions, epic scope, and pure spectacle. Fans rank it #1 for combining everything that made the series great into one unforgettable 5-episode arc. "This I command" became one of the most quoted lines in 80s cartoon history. From psychological horror in Nightmare Assault to emotional devastation in There's No Place Like Springfield to the epic scale of Arise, Serpentor, Arise, these 10 episodes prove G.I. Joe was more than toy commercials. It was smart, ambitious, and willing to take risks that most Saturday morning cartoons wouldn't dare attempt. Now it's your turn. Do you agree with this ranking? Which episode got robbed? What's your #1 G.I. Joe episode of all time? Drop your rankings in the comments. Let's debate. And if this countdown brought back memories, subscribe to Pure Nostalgia, smash that like button, and ring the bell for more 80s, 90s deep dives. Yo, Joe!